Last few years, the top quarterback in fantasy average has been Super Josh Allen. Until last year when Lamar Jackson came in and put an end to that. Had the highest average. Certainly, though, you can use Josh Allen as the high watermark for the last few years in average per game at quarterback. All right, you can see until he come down a little bit last year, but just a here's a perfect contrast here. Here is Patrick Mahomes and what he's done in average the last few years. And you can see he's kind of dropped off these last couple years here. So he hasn't been making it into the top 10. It usually need about a 16.2 to get in the top 10. It varies, but you can see the last couple years he's been below that line, hadn't been getting in there. Things change, right? Well, hey, here's Joe Burrow. What Joe Burrow looks like. He just doesn't have the rushing. You got to have the rushing to get up to this top tier, right? Hey, Josh Allen came down a little bit. Joe Burrow coming up. Came close last year. But you move on to the Jalen Hurts. He got the legs, right? So, matter of fact, here in 2022, he passed Josh Allen for the year and finished just a little bit above him. But you can see below him the other years, but it comes down to that legs. You got to have that legs, get up that top 20 average there. Top high or low 20s. And here's what happened last year, though. Lamar Jackson come in, been down below him here for 4 years, you can see, but last year, Josh Allen came down a little bit, and Lamar Jackson had a best year in a few years and came up. You see now, if Josh Allen would have had similar years to the prior, yeah, he would have been a little ahead of Lamar Jackson, but a good year for Lamar Jackson there. So, and here you put them all together, it gets kind of confusing, you can't really see. And here's what they look like. But you do see Lamar Jackson, but he was down a little bit the 2 years prior, came up back, and then last year, ahead above them all there. So this is kind of how they finished last year, you can see. And Lamar Jackson, of course, wow, quite a gap here above the rest of them. And the rest are kind of very similar. Oh, you got a first appearance of Jaden Daniels here, 1 year. And so, but I think it all starts with these two, and which one are we going to put first? Do you want if there was a stock, it looks like Lamar Jackson's on the upswing and maybe Josh Allen's on the downswing, but who are we going to pick first? All right, let's get started here then. Bring out my top 10 fantasy quarterbacks for next year. Starts with Lamar Jackson. Hey, he was number one last year, 21.79 a game. Had that 41 passing touchdowns. That's quite the difference right there. He's had the rushing, 915 yards, 4 touchdowns last year. He's had the rushing in the past, but that passing numbers, that just set him above. That's where this average came from, 21.79. You see, it busted my chart with so much scoring there. So this year, he's coming back again. Of course, they had the number one team offense. And he does have the 20th schedule. All right. So you can see he has the wide receivers work with Zay Flowers. Probably be their number one, Rashard Bateman. This is bringing in Hopkins here. All right. Hopkins, hey, he might be a little bit down on his, coming down on his career here. But hey, veteran to have out there, back at it. So that's a pretty well. And then you got the tight ends. Which one are you going to list first? Mark Andrews, who finished 5th last year in fantasy. You have him at tight end. And Isaiah Likely, who finished 14th. You can see 6 touchdowns. So pretty well loaded here. Of course, got Derrick Henry coming back too. He's all set to go again. Lamar Jackson. With that high average last year, it's hard to put someone ahead of him. But, if someone's going to do it, it'd been Josh Allen. Josh Allen had previously been there. He finished 2nd last year with 19.64. So, hey, 28 passing touchdowns. Let's see, quite the difference there in just between him and Lamar there. 12 rushing touchdowns, though. Picked up a lot of those rushing touchdowns. So those kind of come and go. Well, that's kind of it. Was part of the story there last year was James Cook, right? James Cook had 16 rushing touchdowns, two of them receiving. So previously, that had been what it held Josh or the Buffalo running backs back, is Josh Allen running so many. Well, Josh Allen still got his 12, but James Cook getting so many. Well, there wasn't so many passing touchdowns for Josh Allen last year. His passing numbers are down. All right, so he came down a little bit in that. Well, his receiving core is about the same this year. Shakir's back. Keenan, he finished 41st in fantasy. Sure and steady the whole year. Had 800 yards for him, but Keenan Coleman's back. See, they have the Josh Palmer's brought in, so that adds a little spice to it. Hey, they have the 25th position schedule, so that's not good. Well, you look at Josh Allen himself, 24 position schedule. But, they got maybe Dalton Kincaid to come on a little bit. But, hey, they had the 10th offense last year, 9th in passing. So it's hard to put somebody ahead of those two. You can see all the charts. They're up there all the time. So they're my 1 and 2. And they're both looking for that Super Bowl, right? Hungry. So they're both going to still be hungry. That's no doubt about that. So let's bring out my number 3. It got his Super Bowl, right? Jalen Hurts. Hey, he finished 6th last year in fantasy. 19.2 average. So passing 18 touchdowns, 2,900 yards. Had this 14 rushing touchdowns. So the passing really isn't there. All right. So, but big news there was they're going to let him do that tush push, right? 19.2 average, 14 rushing touchdowns. Well, they were the 8th team. Well, I think that I'm a little down on this. So Jalen Hurts, of course, I got him 3rd. It's kind of hard to bring him down too much. But, sometimes that karma and that kind of thing on that league where they get to keep the push, sometimes that backfires and things go wrong. But I have him number 3rd. Yes, you saw that. It's anyone with the legs like this can and that passing can turn around next year. I mean, it's not like he doesn't have targets. A.J. Brown finished 18th. And Devontae Smith. Got Jahanny Dotson here as an add-on. And, of course, they got Barkley. So, hey, Philadelphia going to try to run it back. They're going to be hung over. But, hey, he's still up here in 3rd. That's where I got him at my quarterbacks. Let's bring out the number 4, and that's going to be Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow, yes, he finished 4th last year. Run it back, 18.69 a game last year. Had those 43 passing touchdowns, almost 5,000 yards passing. So that's where he's going to get it from. That 2 rushing touchdowns, that 200 yards, that's good for him. He doesn't normally get that much, but almost 5,000. Got that passing numbers and got quite the team to work with, right? Hey, he's got Joe Burrow's got the 15th schedule, so middle of the road schedule for him for this next year. And his wide receivers, how great they are. Jamar Chase was the number 1 receiver last year. He's got him to work with, and he's got the number 2 easy passing schedule. All right, and T. Higgins got the number 2 easy. He finished 16th in fantasy last year, and they got this Andre here, and that Burton they're battling there. Chase Brown comes back at running back. Got Mike Gesicki here, finished with 600 yards. So Joe Burrow's got a lot to work with, and receivers have an easy schedule. They're going to be passing. So the yards probably ditto. I see him doing about the same as he did last year. Got that nice easy schedule there too to keep him up there as long as everything's on course. He just doesn't have the running to pass these running quarterbacks. But he's the top of the passing quarterbacks. And I got him number 4. All right, coming in next I have Jaden Daniels. Well, he's a running, you say, huh? But, hey, he finished 5th last year, 18.42. I think he might have just a little bit of that sophomore slump himself. Defenses know what's coming. He had 25 passing touchdowns. So that's very good as a rookie. Those numbers stand out pretty good without the 890 yards rushing, 6 rushing touchdowns. So, and he was that number 2 pick overall. So he just had an extraordinary year. Finished 5th, like we said. Uh, Good passing numbers. He's got the Terry McLaurin to work with. They brought in Debo Samuel for him, trying to help him out here at wide receiver. That big one is Zach Ertz. That was important for him last year. For Mr. Third Down, 650 yards, 7 touchdowns. Just a release valve for him. Hey, but this year he's got the 29th hardest schedule. So that's one of the worst quarterback schedules there. The receivers, no picnic either with the 21st. All right, that's hard, little harder schedule. And the running backs have the 32nd schedule. So Washington's getting no favors by the schedule maker. And Jaden Daniels here with the 29th. That's not very good. So anyway, I'm bumping him down a little bit with the concerns of the sophomore slump. Down. He finished 5th last year. I got him 5th. So you can see here, we bring out the next one. I got Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray, who finished 9th last year, 15.95 a game. Had passing 21 touchdowns, 3,800. Gets the legs, right? 570 yards, 5 touchdowns rushing. So he has the legs to get him there. Hey, already finished 9th last year. He's got Marvin Harrison Jr. People thought, well, boy, maybe he could do a little better last year. But, well, he's back. He put on some weight. He's ready to go back to work. And he got, of course, this Terry McBride here at tight end. I have him down as the first tight end probably this year. With that easy number 4 schedule for a tight end. He's got an easy schedule. The receivers, 18th, that's not great. But, hey, you look at Kyler Murray, his quarterback schedule is number 3. He's got the 3rd easiest schedule. I like he's going to run more. We've talked about some of that they're going to try to. He said he's going to use his legs a little bit more. All right, he said he's feeling better from the leg injury a few years back, so he's coming back. Got a lot to work with. James Conner, and the running backs have the 4th easiest schedule, so things will be rolling. Hey, they were already the number 11th team offense last year, 7th team in rushing, so I think he's going to have a big year. Kyler Murray looking to prove it, so I got Kyler Murray. Here, number 6. Finished 9th last year. All right, we'll bring out who I got now. Justin Fields, right? Well, he finished 31st last year. Well, he kind of played the first 6 games and then sat on the bench. He had 5 things, but hey, 5 rushing touchdowns in that limited action. So, hey, he's got the average per game. You can't really look here because he had some games where he just come in for a few plays, but he's usually a 16. Hey, you look at his career, it's average. Well, look up here, had a 20, almost 20 in 2022. Was one of the top fantasy because of that running. In 2023, that average is 16, over almost 17. That last year's brought down because of those games where he didn't really get to play. Just came in for a few plays. He has the number 1 easy position schedule for quarterbacks. So, and the receivers, Garrett Wilson, has the 4th easiest. So they do have a great schedule. Alan Lazard, Josh Reynolds. We'll see who they have at receiver. But, hey, they have an easy schedule. But Justin Fields is going to get a lot of that by running. He had 5 rushing touchdowns in these 6 games you see he played in. It didn't cause a problem. He's there practicing with the team now, getting ready. They're going to have a new coach. I think you're getting him cheap. And the beauty is you don't have to pay nowhere near the 7th quarterback to get him here. The consensus has him 15th. So keep an eye out for Justin Fields. I think he's going to be the big bargain. If he plays the whole year, there's no one behind him. Tyrod Taylor's not going to come in and try to put him in. They didn't take a high-profile rookie to be sitting behind and putting pressure. It's Justin Fields' year, and I think he's going to answer. He has before. Just don't forget 2022. and 2023 even in the top 10 with average. So, all right, moving on. We'll bring out. Hey, please hit that subscribe button. Get subscribed so you don't miss this content. Or give me a thumbs up. Thumbs up to that new referee uniform, huh? Thumbs up. Taking a look at Baker here. Baker Mayfield finished third last year, 18.8, 4,500 yards passing, 41 touchdown passes, 3 rushing touchdowns, and 378. Just a extraordinary year. He was a number 1 pick overall back in 2018, let's not forget. But Baker Mayfield just had the dream season last year, right? All those passing yards, and all this is rushing, just career numbers there. You can see here that he's not come close to these numbers before. Now, great team. Maybe he's getting better here. Had the 3rd team offense, right? But this year, he's got the 23rd hardest schedule. You just look for a little regression. He's not going to get all that running numbers again, probably, and passing, just everything seemed to work right. Although there were injuries, but they bring in this Egbuka, right? High-profile wide receiver. Got Mike Evans to work with as long as he stays healthy. But they've got the 16th schedule. Then I think one of the negatives Baker's going to have is they were the 4th team in rushing that last year. I think that rushing's going to be working pretty good this year. They've got the 6th easiest schedule. Bucky Irving, all right, finished 14th in fantasy, had that 1,100 yards, 8 touchdowns. Bucky Irving. So, hey, I think the running game's good. And Rashard White. Hey, he's in a contract here. Gonna let it play out. He's the end of his contract. Getting only paid, very little. So, hey, he's going to want that money. He's going to be hungry. And they got the number 6 easy schedule. So, look, and they got Sean Tucker here waiting here, too, in the bench. So, I think those two are going to be battling it out to see who can run the most. And maybe Baker won't be called on to pass quite so much. Got to have regression. I mean, you just look at the years. That's going to come back a little. So, hey, I still got him in the top 10 here. So, all right, let's bring out number 369. Number 9 is Patrick Mahomes. I have Patrick Mahomes coming in next. Hey, we've seen the years there. We saw that there's been down years here lately, but I think he comes back. I think you're ready for a revival here. How about Worthy? They got some tools to work with. The number 9 position schedule for these wide receivers for Kansas City. So, top 10 easy schedule. She Rice comes back. And, of course, Hollywood Brown. Look, those are not 3. And you got Kelsey still. So, you got 3 good receivers, a good tight end. Kareem Hunt did good last year. I just looked for Patrick Mahomes to rebound. And, he was 11th last year. So, it isn't too far a stretch for him to get up to 9th. All right. So let's bring out number 10, and I have Brock Purdy, number 10. Brock Purdy just sneaks in there. Hey, he finished 12th last year, but you can see his fantasy average is 16.2. About what he needs to get on here. He's down in passing. It's a down bad, 5 rushing touchdowns. That's pretty good for him, but it was a down year, of course, for San Francisco last year. But maybe this is their year. Hey, look, the team offense was still the 4th team offense. Brock Purdy finished 12th in fantasy, has the 4th easiest schedule this year. So that's what the key here, not only getting Christian McCaffrey back. He only had those 4 games, was hurt all year, and the offense ran through him, and Brock Purdy held on. But you're going to give him, if he comes back healthy, and they got the number 1 easy rushing schedule. San Francisco has the number 1 easiest rushing schedule. Like I said, Brock Purdy has the 4th easiest quarterback schedule, and the receivers have the 6th easiest. I mean, San Francisco has one of the easiest setup schedules, so should probably get back on. Hey, to challenge the Rams here for the division. Christian McCaffrey, you got Grondo, and they brought in this Jordan James, too, if anything happens above. But, of course, they got George Kittle coming back. Number 1 tight end fantasy. Last year, 1,100. That's just like a number 1. Of course, Hey, you're going to say, hey, Debo's gone. But hey, Debo been not doing too much last year's. Anyway, Juwan Jennings probably leads the group. Maybe it's this Pearsall. You know, the rookie was a first rounder. Look at those last two games when he's finally coming on. First round pick out of the 31st overall. So, but get him worked in. They got him to work in, and they got such an easy schedule and the good coaching. You know, just Shanahan get them back on. You know, work some plays for them, and system quarterback can be number 10. So that's a look at my number 10, top 10 fantasy quarterbacks for next year.